Hi guys, so this is my Traxxas Stampede and Traxxas Rustler comparison video. I'd seen a lot of videos on the internet of just the two separately, but before I was buying either one I couldn't really find much other than a couple of sort of street races in a bit of blurry motion video going down the road racing each other. So what I wanted to do is, for those who maybe like me in a similar position who are looking to buy one or the other and wanted to know the differences. Now I'm going to cover off hopefully the basic differences between the two models and just give you kind of an overview of the two. And I hope this helps, because I couldn't really find anything in one location that compared the two. So yeah, let's go. So right, basically you've got the Traxxas Stampede on the left, the Rustler on the right. The difference, as you can see straight away, is obviously the Stampede's a lot taller in height than the Traxxas, which is on the right here. They have different tyres between them, so the Stampede has a lot bigger tyres, a lot knobblier sort of road tyres. It's a lot higher in height. What you can see is, if I maybe spin this round, let's put Stampede at the back, a Rustler in front. Let's make sure that it's still visible to you guys. Maybe just move the camera around a bit. So you've got slicks on the front of the Rustler, and sort of knobbly, semi-knobbly tyres on the rear. And with the Stampede, it's 4 overall, same tyres. You can rotate the tyres on the Stampede front to back, it doesn't matter. Obviously it's different with the Rustler. Other than that, what have you got? Obviously I fitted the extra bumper on the Rustler, but I'm getting one for the Stampede. This one's got few aluminium parts, which I'm also going to get for the Stampede. Both got wheelie bars on the back of them, which I've fitted. So just talking now, let's just go with standard. The height between the two, so let's move the Rustler out of the way, bring the Stampede in. Now the main difference is between the two is this height between, if you can see here, you get my whole hand in underneath this Stampede. Let's get a tape measure and go in there. It's about 4 inches off the ground on the Stampede, so it's quite a high ride height, which is great for jumps and landings and whatnot. I basically call the Stampede, it's like a brick on wheels. It will just go over anything, chew things up and spit them out the other side. It's great, but its stability, because of its ride height, it tends to topple over sometimes if you like do a sharp bend or come off of the jump and then it bounces over. But it can eat things for breakfast. So moving the Stampede out of the way, ride height on the Rustler. Let's get in there. Now we're talking 2 inches from here to here. I can't get the whole hand in, obviously it can just slide in underneath. So the ride height is a big difference between the two. So that's the difference in ride height. Obviously you've got different tyres on them. Going into the next is the weight. So the Stampede is a fairly weighty, it's a larger vehicle. It weighs more than the Rustler. Now trying to weigh these is going to be a bit of a pain, but it's probably not a great deal in it, but this is definitely heavier than that one. So that's another factor in the two, so you can see them side by side now. Going through, so I believe, and don't quote me on this, but they're obviously geared differently, because the Rustler on the left is obviously for speed on the road and designed out the box. It's got slightly different stock gearing to the Stampede, which is used for obviously geared slightly slower for off-road terrain, jumps, bumps and whatnot. So that's difference there. Now out of the box, they say the difference in speed is 5 miles an hour. I've not tested this, to be fair, but I would probably say I definitely noticed that the Rustler seems a lot quicker. And the Traxxas, I've only really done a lot of off-roading with the Stampede, so yeah, I'm not sure. I've got aluminium parts on the Rustler on the left, but that's not going to make a difference. Now under the hood, should have taken the pins out earlier, would have been easier. Now just checking under the hood, this one has the what size is the engine or the motor? I believe the motor's bigger than this. It's like a 3351R. What did I see? I believe it's got a quicker motor, like in the Rustler. Take the lid off of that. No, 3351R. So someone said online that they had different motors in them, but they look to be the same to me. It's the same motors. So let's put the shells next to them at the back so you still know which is which. Mix them up. So the front tower on the Stampede, get this in, is a lot higher obviously, but also the shocks I believe differ on the Stampede. Slightly larger front tower on that to the Rustler. I think the back's the same. Obviously this is higher because the shell sits higher up. The layout side by side here, same parts, sort of middle and left. There's more room on the Rustler here, if you can see. More room for sort of expansion. Slightly different layout, this plate on top here. On the Stampede, side by side, less room, your back goes in there. It's really not got as much space. So as I was saying, the Rustler sits closer to the ground. The suspension obviously gives less, so you go down, you've got that couple of inches. The Stampede, obviously got a lot more, 4 inches versus 2 inches in clearance. So got the different gearing, different shocks. The motors, they look to be the same. The ground clearance and the tyres, the weight, and the two side by side. So you can tell it's wide tyres on the Stampede. It's a great off-roader, and this is really good on the road. But I'm not saying the Stampede's kind of a very specific. Stampede's great for basher and jumps. I'm not saying the Rustler isn't. The Rustlers can be converted either way, but if you want to have sort of a specific off-roader and not mess around with the Rustler, changing tyres each time you want to go out for off-road tyres, changing the setup and suspension, it's nice to have like hi-fi separate. So you've got your Stampede, you take that off-road, it's all geared towards off-road, you put your off-road bits and pieces on it, and that's your bad boy for going off-road. This is kind of jack of all trades. You can swap between them. I mean, you can change the tyres, off-road tyres, set it up, higher springs and wider arms and whatnot. But this one, you know, I've set this one up. It's going to be my on-road one and off-road one, but this one can do pretty much everything. And this you can change and adapt. It depends how much money you want to spend as well. But with this shell and this setup, it's mainly designed. It's never going to win like drag races, whereas the Rustler's pretty quick. So my Rustler, the only difference I have in here is Stampede's stock at the moment. So it's got a wheelie bar on, but I think that came with it. And it runs a 2-cell LiPo, not in there at the moment. With the Rustler, I've obviously done a few upgrades. It's obviously got 2-cell LiPo as well, not in it at the moment. It's got, if you could see, so aluminium caps on here and at the back, aluminium here and here. Can't really see in there, but the front's easy to show you. So carriers, and I always forget the name of the other thing, carriers, and God knows what comes to me in a bit. So change those to aluminium because I'm going to do it as well with my, and I put obviously the front guard on here because it's quite easy to smash it straight into the curb. I'm going to do the same. I've got the guard coming for Stampede. I'm going to put the caps on and I'm going to change these as well. The reason why I've done that is because obviously the first thing that happened with my Stampede was it went over a jump and one of the caps popped off, So these are the stock caps, and all the oil sprang out. So I'm going to get aluminium caps. I've got them for the Rustler, but I'm getting them for the Stampede as well in red, blue Rustler, black, kind of orange, and then all mix of colours on the Stampede. So I'm getting red caps for this one. It's just, I've heard they don't pop off as easily, and obviously I don't want to be changing the oil in my shocks all the time, so that was something from experience. I've not just gone, oh, I want to change and have some bling in my car. I also upgraded these to aluminium because the back ones, the wheel, as you'll see from my Twitter and previous videos, the wheel basically it crashed and it broke the back axle carriers and stump something or other. I can't remember what it is, chassis stumps or God knows, but it broke into two pieces. So I've got aluminium front and back to hopefully protect, make it a bit more sturdy, and I'm going to do that for the pair. God damn it, it's expensive for aluminium. You think they're made of gold, because in UK pounds these are like 15, 17 quid, and then these are like 25 quid, and they're like 25 quid, so you're like, it's ridiculous. And then this is, the RPM parts are pretty cool, plastic, but you know, that was like 7 quid, it's not too bad. But I think all in, when you get the caps, the front aluminium parts and the back, it's 70 odd quid, and you could buy almost an ECX amp, another car for that. Yeah, so that's the difference between the two. Trying to think of anything else, but I can't at this point in time. So with that, yeah, hopefully one day I'll be able to get them both out running together. But yeah, so hopefully that's helped you. So we've got Traxxas Stampede and the Rustler, side by side, great vehicles. Trying to do that one, I don't know how else you want to see them, but if you've got a request, put it in, I can try and do that. Any questions, let me know. Both really good cars. Yeah, I can't fault either. It's hard to pick a favourite. They both serve different purposes, and having fun with both of them. That's why I'm sort of going to modify them both up and go from there, really. Just have the pair, and then who knows. So yes, really enjoying these two. Keep you posted. Cheers, have a good day.